What if there was a secure place with lots of tough layers to, with lots of tough layers to, with lots of tough layers to, with lots of tough layers.
Okay. Good morning, everybody.
Okay. Good morning,
Welcome.
everybody. Good morning,
Welcome.
everybody.
Want to make sure we've got everything well set this morning. If I could get some confirmation on YouTube, the audio, the video's looking good, just the audio, the video's looking good, just everybody can both hear me and it sounds appropriate for the morning show. Appropriate for the morning show. Echoing. Okay. Echoing. Okay. Echoing. Okay. Let's see, I assume we're still getting some audio feedback here. Where would that be coming from? Let's see. Can I get another confirmation? Are we still getting some audio feedback on YouTube? Okay, that's working. Okay, so this is kind of interesting. I might have to switch over to a similar setup as Carlos. Okay. Let me make sure our chat room. It's good. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Apologize for that. Little bit of a new technical setup. I am streaming myself this morning as opposed to Carlos assisting, so had to kind of work through some of the bugs this morning. So let's go ahead and start off with a welcome. Welcome back to Engineering the Markets. My name is Jared. It is July 18th, 2022. We've got a lot of market activity this week to be looking forward to. We're pretty much kicking off our major earnings this week. We had plenty of bank earnings last week. We heard from JP Morgan, we heard from Citi, and we saw a little bit of counter movement in some of those names, both leading into earnings. JP Morgan kind of setting the stage with some share buyback repositioning, and then we saw a fairly massive intraday rally in the likes of Citi, which led the financial sector on Friday. You combine that with some other key names last week. We had the likes of United Healthcare coming out and supporting the Dow. We also have Goldman Sachs this week. This is another major component of any Dow 30 tracking index. And combine all of that with our current weekly schedule, which is chock full of some additional banks. We have some notable names like J&J and IBM coming up in the next couple of days. And we also have Netflix and Tesla, two communication and consumer discretionary stocks or tech stocks that should have some nice volatility to play. But as we always do, it's Monday, so let's kick off looking at the SPX. Let's talk about the expected move and some of the market movement last week. And then we'll cover some ideas that were starting to kind of form up on Friday, leading us into potentially an amazing trading week for earnings. So, first things first, our last week expected move. It was approximately 95 points. That's noted here by this plus or minus 94.71. We spent about 2 intraday sessions trading below our expected move range. And when I talked about some of the potential scenarios, markets can often hedge or act in a sort of single directional bias whenever they start to move outside of their expected movement, especially when you get close to Friday. Usually you're going to see a lot of option open interest driving this price activity. And if it's going to drive lower, you often will see things like volatility pricing going up very quickly. None of that occurred last Thursday, and the market actually was able to recover into its expected move. And this marks the 3rd week where we've seen a market close inside of its expected move, albeit we do have weekly breaches in between. And what's really notable about this is our market inefficiency that we were currently experiencing, where we were getting wild price swings both after hours and even into the trading session. And that has actually gone into a more efficient market, one where the option pricing is getting the expected move correct week over week, albeit it has a hard time with the actual volatility that we see on a shorter term basis. Usually what I like to see here is that stabilization can bring together a little bit more clear technical direction. It can also kind of set the stage for a lot of market participation in one area. So if we do have an efficient market and it is contained within some technical price levels, you're often going to see this battle of bull, bear, sort of anticipating the next big move in the market. And with all of that comes a lot of energy getting built up, usually in the form of open interest, people basically still in longer term positions and looking to see where the next big move of market price will lead. So with all of that, this week, we're only seeing about an 88 point expected move. It's a bit lower than even I was expecting. This is on the week that we have a lot of, at least for the S&P, some pretty key names reporting. And when we look at what the S&P is composed of, when we talk about fundamentals of the SPX, more specifically the SPY to bring up its actual holdings, you'll notice that there are some names that stand out this week. We do have Tesla, which still represents the top 5 or 6 holding, depending on if you count Alphabet as 1 or 2 stocks. We have United Health Group, which came out last week, but it did drive a lot of price activity into the S&P. J&J sitting at number 9. And then as we scroll down, Netflix has lost a significant portion of its market cap, so it's not going to be sitting anywhere near the top end. Even if you're looking at something like the NASDAQ, Netflix has kind of had enough of a tumble to bring it down significantly. Even within the communication service ETF or just the sector grouping, it still sits at top 7 or top 8, once again with Google having 2 representing stocks. So lots of notable names this week, some market movers, definitely market cap heavy weighted stocks that can cause some impact, especially if we see any surprises. And as we get into the week, we'll look more closely at what these stocks are expecting for their earnings. But for now, the focus somewhat remains on the banks. And, just to kind of round out our expected move discussion, last week we did see a rally. Whether you're looking at a weekly chart to showcase the type of, pin bar behavior, the fact that we bought off of some relative lows. We haven't quite broken through our weekly high quite yet. This is where that compression idea comes into play. Nor have we filled up a gap. There is still an overhead gap sitting in the market. All of these are areas of interest. They're where we're going to be kind of looking to see if bears are truly still in control at this point in time. But I'll bring up some ideas that are counter what is being shown from a price activity perspective, and also, some worst case scenarios. If things kind of roll back over, what would be some signals to get back into the market bearish, or to maybe put on some short hedging opportunities for another wave down in the S&Ps. So with that, let's take a look at our technicals really quickly. I've marked off essentially our core trend line. We had sort of a speculative uptrend line that was violated, but the market did recover. And this is one of the things that sets the stage for a potential rally in this market. If you recall last week, most of the market was focused in on the CPI data, which occurred on Wednesday. When that data dropped, the market did fall quite quickly, and we did see some selling behavior going into the open. However, most of that price activity has been bought up as of last week. And if we're looking at where we sit this morning, there is a gap up open in the S&P. You'll notice that we have cleared the CPI data spike. Essentially, any trader who was trading the CPI should have been using that high point of when the data dropped. It was a very quick, maybe 1 to 2 minute rally in the S&P, and then we basically dropped 10 points in a matter of minutes. So when I look at the structure here and I say, okay, let's say the CPI hourly range is our guide. The candle that formed the high and the lows is a guide of where to be expecting certain behavior. And if we look at what happened last week, we tried to break down. We actually pushed a bit lower, formed an hourly doji or isolated pivot style candle, and recovered. We pulled back in, back tested, and have formed an hourly uptrend along the way. We've basically pushed all the way to the highs, with this morning leading into our gap up open. So from a technical sense, the market has bought all of the price activity from the CPI data drop. The market has essentially responded in kind as to what it expects for the next move with this data in hand. You can also kind of discuss the idea that maybe this is an inverse head and shoulder, of which, if this is, structurally that pattern, there is a measured move within this that kind of puts our target price levels approximately, we'll put it somewhere around here, approximately where we sit this morning. So all of these patterns and structures are leading us to kind of wonder, why is the market not doing what it has done on previous elevated CPI reports? One suggestion would be that the market is anticipating that certain aspects that have driven inflation higher have peaked. We've certainly seen our energy market come down. And whether you're looking at crude, which is responding off of its range support lows, these are kind of our active contract levels. But if we're looking at where crude had bottomed back in March, and we look at some of the pricing now, we can expect that crude is going to be trading within this range for quite a while. And with that comes opportunity. Any range trader knows that if you have clear levels that can offer 2 to 3 2 to 3 opportunities as we respond off of those levels, because they have to be established, they have to be set through testing, and then on subsequent touches you can play towards mid-range or even play high to low if you're looking at core response off of these significant levels. So kind of looking back to see where our VPOC is. Maybe our daily will show that a little bit better. It's not the best of trading ranges. I will say the core VPOC here probably sits close to 100, which means our long opportunity might be a little short-lived. But overall, this is going to likely trade in this range for quite a while. We'll be looking for any sort of technical breakout or breakdown moving forward. You kind of pair that with natural gas, which also had a bullish response off of its 200-day moving average. And that has been sort of uptrending ever since. And you combine that also with gasoline, which has currently been selling back down, pulling back from this parabolic move that we saw in our energy pricing. But it's not just energy. It's more of a full commodity, I'll say, contraction. A lot of commodity prices, and I'm just using a kind of a multi-agricultural ETF, DBA. We've seen a lot of our agricultural commodity pricing come back down. All of these corrections are kind of driving things back into some more nominal type levels, albeit still elevated. It's not as if we've seen a full retracement, but if you look at where these moves have started this year, a lot of them are back to their 2022 pricing. And that obviously from a relative perspective is showcasing some contraction back to nominal levels. Another note from last week, and this is more something to keep an eye on. It's a bit of a newer development, and it's certainly one that can drive equity pricing in regards to how it moves moving forward. We have, in this case, an ETF that showcases high-yield corporate debt. So what I'm using here is called the iShares High Yield ETF. When you look at a product like this, you're going to see that it pays a fantastic yield. It's about 5.23%. And it's a great, I would say it's a great indicator for whether the market is heavily risk on or somewhat risk adversive, quote unquote risk off. Not to say that every pullback in this ETF is risk off. It's simply showcasing that if we're in a downtrend here, if we're selling off heavily, that's obviously more of a risk off or risk adverse behavior of the market, because often this is going to be facilitative of risk overall. Markets will price this much higher if they're willing to take on additional risk, and equities are certainly a risk on asset class. So for context here, this is something that cycles. This is not your normal price chart. Typically, you're going to see massive corrections in this particular product, waves that almost look parabolic. And then when they spike and recover, that's often marking some relative lows in the S&Ps or just in equity products in general. Some notable areas to focus on would be, of course, COVID. But we also have things like the 2018 sort of Santa Claus decline, where the market entered for about a day into a bear market and then swiftly recovered. And even some notable drawdowns back in early 2016 and leading into 2015, sort of this period here, where there was another series of concerns about the potential for the Fed to interact with monetary policy. When we're looking at just high yield debt here, over the past couple weeks, we've seen chop. The S&Ps have been back and forth. It's also true of our, in this case, our risk on sector, or market. And overall, it's been non-directional. From a weekly perspective, there really hasn't been a bias. But when you look at the daily and what occurred on Friday, there's a very early sign that this might be starting to recover. We're clearing some of our spike low reactionary highs. So these are our high volume events. The high point has been resistance for the past couple weeks, and we've just barely gotten over that level. Very interesting from a technical sense to see closure above a level, and obviously continuation is what's needed now. So you can close 1 or 2 days outside of resistance. You often want to see continuation on trends. And if this is true, if we do continue to see sort of a bullish rally in something like corporate debt, you could be looking at HYG, you can be looking at J and K, they're going to show similar technical structures. Then it also kind of poises the market to have a similar bullish correlation. Oftentimes you will see these almost lead one another, and usually HYG is going to be a better signal as to whether the market is truly rallying or if this is more or less a trap. We've seen a couple of cases like this where these oversold readings leading into these massive spikes. And if we just kind of identify this 4-day period here where this was sort of a net bullish asset, we look back into what the SPY was doing, and the SPY also had a similar rally. Albeit this rejected, we saw a balance in the S&Ps, and then we drew back down once again from a CPI event or CPI reading. So, big picture, I think this week is one to kind of give a little bit of relief to the bulls. The bulls kind of have the stage right now, and we're going to see just how far they go before they potentially reject once again. We want to be careful of the type of volatility we could see as we're testing resistance points. One thing that I'm, super cautious of is if you're getting into a particular level that's been defended quite well, you often want to see it actually get through the level and fail. Getting short or getting ahead of that level will often put you at a lot of upside risk, because often they want to grab the liquidity, or in this case the overhead supply of that particular resistance level before selling off the market once again. This is more for intraday trade or just swing trade kind of analysis, but conceptually it works for most levels as well. You often want to see levels be touched or tested and actually fail to expand before you consider reversing or shorting against them. Let's see. Couple of other notes. Once again, I'm kind of building a case here more for the bulls this week. A lot of things are lining up around the same time, and they all kind of have that bullish lean. So volatility itself has come off. Doesn't necessarily mean we can't see it turn here, but overall I haven't seen any notable pickup in our VIX. We have vol futures at trendline support, so keep an eye on this one. This would be maybe a signal to change bias, but for now we're testing, and I definitely want to see this break down to really give the bulls a fighting chance. And then if we're looking at something like volatility pricing relative to the VIX, so vol of vol or acceleration of hedging behavior, these are some relatively low readings. No one's really out there hedging in large firms or anything that's going to showcase itself here. I haven't really seen a signal to kind of get back into a bit of a defensive mindset, and that can kind of lead us to that sort of grinding behavior, one that tends to be more net bullish overall. Now, obviously, I'm painting a picture here of a bullish case in possible bear market. So like most rallies, we want to be careful having expectation for this to be the absolute bottom of the market. It's going to be a lot of trend changes along the way that need to be tested and defined. But overall, I think this week is positioned well for more of a bullish drift. And that's, of course, coming into our earnings. So, we have the likes of Tesla coming out on Wednesday after market. We have a couple of extra banks, lots of which got massive rallies on Friday due to some of the behavior in Citi and just the particular inflow into the financial sector. You kind of combine that with what JPM reported and how it responded on Friday. Lots of false breakdowns in the financial sector. And I think you'll see that very notably on the daily chart. But you'll also see it quite well on something like an XLF. Basically a financial ETF that has a little bit of multiple assets here. Sorry, I'm trying to get a bigger time frame weekly here. Notable location as well. I know this is earnings reaction for the most part, but look at where the financials are located. Right next to the 200 period weekly moving average. Very strong moving average for bigger picture trends. And like most moving averages, it has to be responded to historically for it to really matter in any sort of sense. When you bring up this ETF, you'll note a lot of our pull downs, a lot of our drawdowns in financials have landed on the 200 period before making new swing highs. You'll note here back in that late 2018 period, you'll note COVID actually broke the 200 and we saw plenty of downside volatility. We even saw a rejection against it, kind of establishing how important this moving average is. And then look at the gap up here that occurred and set the financial bull market that we saw about a year and a half ago. Very important level to kind of respond and respect into an earnings cycle. So I'm a little kind of bullish here in regards to financials. Financials being a lead sector or a bigger sector of the S&P. And if this does respond bullish and just kind of hold or carry a little bit forward, that's kind of another feather in the cap of the bulls. You combine that with healthcare, which has been holding up quite well. And as I mentioned, UNH, massive bullish rally leading the Dow after earnings last week. Maybe J&J will have something similar. That would certainly bolster this entire sector because of how heavy those particular names are. United Healthcare, J&J, something like a Pfizer as well would be a positive for the healthcare sector. Putting all that together, there's a lot of reasons to think that we're kind of entering a possible, little bit of a bullish drift here. Maybe a short-term rally. We've got lots of market participants still net bearish as well. They're not really hedging quite well. And that can actually force a little bit of short covering, more aggressive style trading, and possible breaks of resistance points for some of those key levels that the S&P has defined. So anyway, when you put all this together, it's painting a picture that we want to be a little bit careful of perception on these rallies, but also expectation for drawdown without the market giving us a clear signal. You'll have a lot of traders just kind of stepping in bearish because it's been working. And similar to a bull market, if you're bullish and you're able to tolerate the downside, the market making new all-time highs will reward you. As long as you're surviving, what is essentially the lows, the bull market will reward as we make new all-time highs. It's kind of similar in a downtrend. If you're net bearish and we keep making down swings, then ultimately you can sort of, refactor or reallocate your position as the market keeps rewarding you. But when you're trying to step into new positions, you want to be kind of careful of relative location and true technical signals, ones that'll really give you an edge in regards to the next wave of market movement. So anyway, with all that said, my name is Jared. This is Engineering the Market. We've got plenty to cover this week, lots of names and market movers to kind of shake up the S&Ps. overall, stay tuned for pre-market prep. We have plenty to kind of go over this week as well for BBT. And as always, if you like this, give us a like on YouTube. Stay tuned for pre-market prep, and we'll talk more tomorrow.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the PreMarket Prep. I hope you're having an amazing Monday. I hope you had an incredible weekend. Good morning, Norm. How are you doing today, my friend?
Morning, brother. I'm doing great. What a day to be alive. How are you? How was your weekend?
Doing good. Weekend was great, man. Great time with the family as usual, and yeah, man, good day to come back to the markets and seeing all this green on the screen here this morning.
It's
So
nice.
that is fun. It's different. Breaking out of this range, hopefully, for good.
It's been a little a little bit of a long, depressing slide over the last couple of months. It's nice to come
Yeah.
in on a Monday morning and see some green.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, let's give a thumbs up over to Jared for engineering the markets every Monday through Thursday. We appreciate that very much, giving us his insight. I couldn't listen today because I was running around with the kids this morning, but I'm sure it was great. So it always is. All right, guys, taking a look. As we mentioned, Norm and I, again, a lot of stuff in the green. Nothing on the gap down screen today. Everything in good shape this morning so far. Our couple that you clearly know are doing their own thing and are up well above some of the rest here that are between 2 and 3 and 4%. And Bitcoin seems to be leading the way a little bit. So we'll talk about that when we get there. But yeah, it's nice to see. Norm, overall SPY. I know we have earnings coming up this week. Just a whole lot of stuff that we can enjoy for this start.
Yeah, well, obviously we're in earnings season now, so people have been waiting for this to see how things were going to look. It's likely we have the technical definition of a recession that we're going to find out about here soon. When second quarter GDP comes in, that's not the officially recognized recession because it has to be declared and other things go into it. But the technical, the historical definition is two consecutive quarters of negative growth, which is very likely that we'll have. Now, the SPY on Friday was interesting, how it gapped up, held the gap, and closed at its high, essentially. So let's see how that acts. It popped above the 9 and the 20 on the daily. It's approaching the 50 there. We're in the top of the range that we've been bound in recently. The banks, even though JP Morgan came out at the beginning and it was a little bit rough, Goldman reported this morning, Bank of America reported this morning, and they had some big moves on Friday. Bank of America essentially flat. It's been down, it's been up, it's been all around. Goldman super strong. Last I looked, GS was up like like 10 bucks or so, 3.5%. So that's a big move for them. Let's see if we can get something. Let's see if this sticks. It'll be interesting. We've got the home builders index at 10 a.m. But other than that, there's not a whole lot of super big data coming out this week.
Yeah, I agreed. It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be fun. It should be, at least. That's all.
And that GDP read I was talking about, that comes out a week from Thursday at 8:30 a.m. So we'll be watching that for sure as we get close to it.
Yep, absolutely. Just taking a minute here to log in on my trade ideas. Looks like I got locked out. So not locked out, logged out. So I'm just logging in here. Let me restart. Just give me a second here, guys, as I restart this. So make sure we get the latest and greatest on trade ideas here. An amazing tool, guys. We use this thing every single morning. There's links on our website on how to obtain trade ideas. It's a premium service, but it is worth every penny. As far as a scanner, it's probably the best out there. All right, restarting this. Okay, here we go. So VREU decided to mess up our morning here by gapping down. But you know what? We don't care much about it anyway. You're not gonna mess us up today. Down 2%. We'll look at that as well. All right, guys. Let's run through this list this morning. Let's start here with RYTM. So at the moment, RYTM is we saw this last week too a couple of times. I mean, the stock is doing whatever it's doing here on the daily with some volume that has come in recently on it. Before this, just pure garbage. There's nothing really to see here. But the last couple of days, we've seen some action on this. I don't even know what the news is because, to be honest, it's a pharmaceutical, and I'm just not really interested on what the news is. Just look at the pre-market today. It is just messy. So enough about that. Let's get to some fun stuff here.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. They did have a catalyst. I'll just throw it out there. It's some recommendation on a treatment they have for obesity and controlling hunger based on certain deficiencies. So it is something I agree 100%. It's not interesting to me. But
yeah. So good cost there, but just not on this ticker, at least not the way it's trading now. Here is Riot, guys. So Riot this morning 6.3 up 518. Some good numbers for the morning. Again, a lot of tickers just been stuck in this range, kind of like the SPY has been doing. And as Thor mentioned, we're finally seeing a breakout out of this that can hopefully stick, right? That's the plan here, at least. Mara, same thing, breaking out here.
There's some big moves. There's some big moves in Bitcoin this morning. We had been under 20,000. I think Bitcoin got down around 18.5-ish, somewhere in there.
Oh, did it hit 18?
A few $100.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty low. I believe that was last week, but it's up at 22,100-ish, up 5% this morning. Ethereum is up 10% this morning. So all the crypto names getting pops on that.
Yeah,
keep in mind, Mara's got pretty high short float, as you can see on TI, up around 28% as well. So we'll see if they try to do something with that.
And a few of these not too far. I mean, it's not 21. They're on the higher end, a lot of these, right? So there's been a lot of short interest, as you can see there. Again, I knew BTC was down, but didn't know they hit 18, and now they're breaking out. So that's causing some movements here. Coin, guys, let's see what that is doing today. It's not looking good compared to actually Riot. Coin is not looking all that great. They are up 5.8 this morning, but they're not looking great. I want to say Mara has probably one of the best pre-markets this morning as far as we've seen and daily. maybe today's their day where they do something. Let's see. We'll add Mara here out of all these three that I like. Or not like, but all these three in that sector. We'll put Mara on deck. Up 6%. Volume right now. What was that? 100? No, 588. So that could be decent. Here's Billy up 4.4. The volume is just not there right now for Billy. I used to like trading Billy quite a bit, but just no volume this morning. Let's head down over to Plug. Plug had news last week, right? There was a catalyst that was not great for them as far as their overall charging stations. If I
It's a
remember correctly.
political. No, it's an overall political
Agreement or
issue
something?
with.
Yeah.
Well, it's Joe Manchin came out and said he's not going to support a
Yeah,
massive bill under reconciliation, which is the one time a year that that the Senate can vote something through with fewer than 60 votes. So if he's not
I
on
remember
board
you
for
said
that,
Mhm.
then it's a hit to the green stuff that they want to put in that bill.
Yeah. So we'll definitely have Plug on deck today, guys. Right now up 3.8 after getting crushed on Friday, 787. I do like this one for today. Maybe we can get something out of this. All right, let's take a look at Goldman Sachs. Again, as you mentioned, Goldman Sachs, GS, and Bank of America both reporting this morning. I think there's some other banks reporting later today, or no? No, that's the two banks for today, I believe. Yes, based on this list here. JP Morgan last week did okay. Did all right. I mean, it reported and it just completely crushed it. I mean, overall, the SPY was strong, so I'm sure that helped it, but it did very well. I'm not sure if Bank of America and GS are going to have the same opportunity today. I just don't know. GS looks okay. It's a little bit on the choppier side, so I'm not a huge fan of it. And Bank of America, where's Bank of America on this list here? They're gapping. I thought we're gapping up today.
No, it's
Ah,
flat.
they did.
Yeah,
No, they're not even
it's
moving.
essentially flat.
Yeah.
It'll probably be in play and move. It's just not doing anything right now. We'll see.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm maybe let's see what Bank of America does. GS. I mean, as much as I hate this ticker, not looking bad today, guys. Up 3.6, 253,000. Daily looks
Yeah, it's looking
somewhat
good,
decent,
man.
right? I mean, it's
It's usually not the best intraday, but
yeah.
it's looking pretty decent.
It looks much better than I would expect. So definitely, I'm gonna try GS today on our main list. If we see something better, we'll take it off. But I like the way it looks right now. SU, what is this? This is no good, as you can tell by the pre-market and the daily. It's garbage. Bank of America. I'm sorry, not Bank of America. Sorry, Boeing BA here.
I know you're
up
gonna
three.
catch yourself.
Yeah, 3.4, 402. Nice breakout out of a 147.
So they've got big news.
Yeah.
They've had big news this morning with the first air show, and I'm not talking about where you take your kids to go see skydivers and World War II aircraft fly overhead. The airline industry does a few of these massive air shows a year where they come and show off planes to all the executives of the major airlines around the world and such. The first one that's taken place, I believe, since the beginning of COVID, is taking place in England right now.
Okay,
And
yeah.
one of the big airline, Delta, came out, I believe it was, and signed an agreement to purchase 100 737 Maxes. So obviously, those that have been around a few years remember the crazy volatility that the 737 Max crashes, groundings, and all that had on this ticker. That's the first big order I can remember being declared on those coming out. So should be interesting.
Yeah, that should be good. It should give things some positive turn here for Boeing. So
we've got a member from Farnborough, which is where the air show is.
Oh, nice. All right, BA on the list, guys, for now. Pre-market looks very good, actually, for BA this morning. Day looks fine as well. And BA, again, they're sitting on the New York Stock Exchange, and they don't have the like a Apple-type pre-market.
So, yeah.
But they can trade very well. So we'll see what happens there. Food 2 this morning, up 3.5, but not looking good. PDD here. No, we'll go through the rest very quickly. SIGA. I know this thing has had some movements in the past. I'm not a big fan of the way this thing moves in the intraday, so I'm keeping it off the list. Very light on volume. NVIDIA. Let's see what's going on here with the tech giant NVIDIA. Looking good, man. Beautiful breakout. And I'm sure we're going to see a lot of this now with Apple, AMD. I like NVIDIA today. I'm going to put them on deck. 700,000. So a lot higher volume than we're used to seeing in the pre-market. Definitely like that. Becky, yeah, I'm probably gonna skip today. Yep. BHP skipping, BP as well. CP and I just want to see some good names here. Let's see what Baba is up to. Up 2%. You know what? Baba might be interesting today. Possible on Baba, and we'll talk more details about it. And then when we get to that, to our levels, A firm, no good. Oxy is up 2.2. Oxy could be interesting. We're gonna make some room here for Oxy as well. We'll come back to that. All right, so American Airlines is up 2.1. That is good. Overall market movement, we'll add Apple here. Let's see if CCL is doing anything fun. No, actually the daily might be interesting. The volume is okay. Man, I want to ask CCL as well, just in case. All right, you mentioned Delta is the one buying all this stuff. They're not popping up a whole lot. American Airlines looking slightly better this
They've got
morning.
earnings coming up here fairly soon, so
Yeah.
people might be a little cautious on that. I'm trying to remember. I think it's this week on like Wednesday
Yes,
or
it
something.
is.
Wednesday or
It is.
Thursday.
No, or was it last week? No, Delta was
No,
last week.
it's Delta was. Oh,
I think it
United is
was.
this week. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was last week because it didn't do much. I remember that. But yeah, and then Piton. Let's see what Piton's
Right.
doing here. Not doing a whole lot this morning. All right, guys, we're all set. Norm, anything you like this morning that we haven't touched on?
AMD. I'll make Peter happy. He's back today. So Peter, I hope you
Yes.
had a great week off. Congratulations on your anniversary. AMD. So same thing. Nvidia is. Nvidia's up on this as well as the chips. It's the CHIPS Act. It's essentially over $50 billion in subsidies to chip makers in the U.S. to help try to keep them competitive against what China's doing. So that'll be in play today as well.
Yeah. AMD on that, guys, looks good. I wish it had a little more volume, but we know how fast that can change. I'm gonna take a look at one of our favorite ones here, Apple, and then they have okay volume 641. That could be a good one to keep on deck as well. All right, guys, we got a couple of minutes. What do you guys like this morning? Let's head to both chats here. CCO, Bill, I have CCO on here. The volume is good. It is up 2%. Not a great pre-market activity, but what I like the most on this is the daily for a possible breakout. If we can see some strength on this, we obviously know CCO has been banged up so bad. And there's just no positive catalyst right now. So I think we might get a move up if the overall market is strong, but I don't think you're going to get anything crazy out of it. Just my thoughts, but we'll see. Nvidia, some of you guys mentioning that one, Rob, Jared, yeah, Nvidia, it's just I agree with Jared here. Day looks great to really go. Yeah, it's primed, man. This thing is primed to get going. And 791,000 is a nice volume in the pre-market. Google post split. Want to see how it trades. Is it done on Google? Oh yeah, there it is. It's done. $112. Yeah, this should be fun today. Although we're not getting when Amazon did this, by now we had tons of volume. We're not seeing that. So maybe at the market open.
Remember my prediction on Amazon being
And you was right.
decent.
So before you say anything, whatever you predict on this, I'm with you 100%. I'm never going to question it.
I don't think this will be as good as Amazon is.
Okay.
This one that's just my. Who knows? We'll see.
Hey, listen, man.
And I'm talking intraday, but we'll see. I could be completely wrong, but that's my guess.
Did somebody is that a I'm you're 1 for 1, so I'm with you, man. You're 100% right now. How can you go against that?
Pulling my head then. I'm not saying it'll be bad. I'm sure it'll be in play. It'll trade better than it did. It's just I think it'll be. It's just tough.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Does it look good? And the signs this morning so far are pointing towards that.
Agree,
yeah. So, we looked at CP at G real quickly. I did not like what I saw there. Pre-market's all over the place. No volume at the moment. 123 is not great for us. Daily looks interesting, but that's about it. This volume is not great. So I'm not gonna go into the intraday, but I can only imagine it doesn't look too great compared to other stuff on our list. Coin I do have on deck already, so that is. Do I have on deck? Actually, no. Coin is bad today. I have Mara today instead. That's possible. So we'll look more into that in a second here. Tesla, we'll look at Tesla and then we'll go over to community events and announcements so we can give you guys the rundown for the week and what's going on for this trading week. Here's Tesla up 2%, 563,000. I would have thought Tesla would have been doing a lot more today, especially with the way the SPY was gapping up. but not really doing a whole lot. I don't
We
know.
got the Elon Musk week coming up, man. We've got
When is that?
Tesla earnings after
Oh,
the bell
yes.
on
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And then Twitter is after the bell before they open on Friday. So within the span of 48 hours there, it's going to be a little bit of a Musk ride.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Again, the one I'm looking to forward to the most is Netflix. I want to see what happens here.
Should
This is
be
gonna be
interesting.
fun. Yeah, that's tomorrow. Is that at the close or after? What is that?
It
Oh,
usually would be, I would think.
at the close. Yeah, at the close. All right. Well, that'll be fun. All right, guys, let's go to community events and announcement. Actually, we're right here on the website. Let's just go right to bearbulltraders.com.
Yeah.
And we can take a look right from here to our webinars coming up this week. Guys, you can just come up here to the top menu, click on webinars, and this will give you everything that's lined up for this week. Just want to take the time now. Just quick reminder, guys, we have moved our onboarding webinar to 8 p.m. Again, so if you receive anything that says 7 or anything like that, that is
We're trying to
incorrect.
clean it up, but it's in
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
different places. So we're
Yeah,
moving it
so
back to its original time at 8 p.m. Eastern for onboarding and tech every Monday night. Don't forget, that's open to all membership categories, whether you're on a trial or anything. Go check that out. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m., we've got Artie talking about options and day trading, an introduction to that. The following week with Andrew talking about his risk management strategy, both of those Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Psychology Wednesday. This week, we've got Mike talking about how to set up a psychology training plan. And then the next week, Randy Howell talking about developing your hidden strengths to transform your trading. Should be a great one as well. Mentoring on Thursday, John at 11, Ed at 4. I'm sure he's so happy that we're back into an earnings season. I'll have some stuff to trade after the bell. Thor at 8 p.m. Speaking of Thor, I hope you and the family are feeling better. I know the wife had COVID, and I think Thor got the COVID over the weekend or on Saturday or on Friday.
Yeah, I
So
think it was
hope he's
Thursday
feeling
night.
a little bit better. But anyway, we'll see him Thursday. I'm sure he'll be back to normal by then. StockTradingSimulator.com is our free web-based replay simulator. Be sure to check it out at StockTradingSimulator.com, where you can go use that 24/7. Speaking of that trial membership earlier, if you go to bearbulltraders.com, scroll down about halfway down the homepage. If you haven't ever been in the room, you can give it a shot for a week. PreMarket 24, you use that promo code to get a discount on it. No obligation to stay signed up or anything. It doesn't recur. It cancels after that week. So come give it a shot. And read 50, half off the Elite Annual promo, and a free one-on-one coaching session with trading psychologist Dr. Kenneth Reed when you use promo code READ50.
All right. Thank you very much, Norm. Okay, guys, let's get to our list here. We have XBEV coming up in the gap down list here. Down 2.1, but not looking so good here. This could be interesting. Gapping down this morning. That could be interesting. All right, our list right now, I have Plug, I have GS, which again, normally would not be on our list, but today looks very good. I have a Boeing here, which is looking very nice this morning, positive catalyst for them. Some orders from Delta Airlines, a couple of jets there, 737, which again, normally has been an issue in the past and is no longer a problem. NVIDIA here looking very good. I love the volume, love the daily breakout here. Hopefully we got some levels here at 172 that we can hit, and we have AMD. So far, I think that's okay. Not as reflective as how great the overall market is right now, but I think we'll be okay with this. And it could change. We'll see if anything else pops up that looks better than what we have here. Eyes on the scanners, of course, to see if anything pops up, especially that turbo breakup at the beginning of the open. It's pretty nice. All right, as far as Plug, high of the pre-market, we're looking at 1640. So we're going to slam a level there. Towards the bottom, the low of the pre-market is pretty much dead on the previous day close because it's starting right over here. So previous day close is going to be the low of the pre-market there for you. Towards the bottom, we do have previous day close, low from Friday. So low from Friday there. And then over here, we have a nice little island where we have some pretty good support. I'm going to mark that down. That seems to be around 13.93. So 13.93, good area there in case you do decide to slide down here. We're pretty much far away from that now. If you take a look at the price action at 16 at the moment, there is a couple of days on here using support and resistance, right? So might be worth marking this down as well. Again, on Friday, they had a really bad day for them. They gapped down and they actually ran down quite a bit. Today, kind of recovering slightly, right? So up 3.8 this morning so far. Volume is good. Pre-market action actually so far is good. I think this can be a good one today. We'll see. GS this morning, high of the pre-market, we're sitting at 306 with 40. So we'll put that on there. Towards the bottom, we can see our low of the pre-market is pretty much very messy at the moment here. So I'm just going to keep the high from Friday, which is this line right here. You can see that there. You can see that right over here. So we'll just keep that line there. That's going to be more important than whatever this is, right? I mean, what are you doing here? There's nothing happening here. This is going to be more important. Then towards the bottom of that, guys, we look at the daily. There is a level right over here. Not as clean on this daily. And again, I wouldn't expect GS to be as clean because it's a stock that, again, the volume, if you look at the volume here, these tickers that don't trade, 15, 20 million shares, sometimes are very rough around the edges, right? This doesn't move a whole lot. So we'll have to see if today's a difference maker, because already we have 274,000. They do have a catalyst. Everything's looking rather good and positive for them this morning. If we're able to get back to this 306 and better towards the top, we do have, this is a clear level here. You can tell that very, very clear popping out there. This is going to be 311.97. That is good there. And then above that, again, now this will be a stretch, but the market can surprise us. 321 is a nice one there as well. Tons of resistance, support all across the board there on that 321. All right, so that is GSBA now. Love this breakout, guys. If you look at the daily, the last couple of days had a really nice pop here. Some really big days on there. Nice continuation. Friday, we didn't do a whole lot. Held on to that, below that 150. Today, we're gapping up nicely. So the technicals alone look very good. But on top of that, as we know, they have a nice catalyst, a positive one. 154.56 high of your pre-market. And let's look to the left here a little bit, and we're seeing some action there on that high of the pre-market as well. But slightly above that, there is definitely a level here at 157.40. And then we got the gap here that happened a few months back. So we have 161.27 and we have 167. Just marking those down. Again, the BA can run, guys. We've seen this do some pretty aggressive moves. We saw it last week, right? Going from 137 to a 147. That's a $10 move, right? So it can definitely get going. It does have the juice to do that. Already this morning, we were up $6, right? So looking at 161, looking at 167, if you're going to have a really good day, is not far-fetched, right, on BA. So looking good right now. NVIDIA, guys, looking really, really nice. And hopefully, you know what I'm going to say, it hopefully does not get too extended and we can take advantage of this, right? So right now we are looking at a low of the pre-market is 159.43. Let's do a level right over there. You can see a couple areas confirming that low of the pre-market there on the daily. You always want to see that, or at least it's nice to see that. High of the pre-market at the moment, which hopefully we're going to test here, is going to be 163.60. And you can see a couple of days also confirming that 163.60 here as well. So that is nice there. Towards the top, we're probably going to see something around 170, right? I would assume. And if you put a line here, you can see a couple of days here as well, doing pretty good. Around 168 actually. So this where is that? 168, good level of support right over here. Good area of resistance right over here. And then we got 172, which is all the way up here. Clearly a level of resistance there as well. So I like NVIDIA, probably my favorite one this morning so far. Alongside BA, I think these two are looking really, really good for the way the day is setting up. Let's get rid of some levels here for AMD because I see our highs and lows overlapping some of these older levels. And just like that, you can see towards the bottom, very, very clean highs and lows from the last two trading days. Doing an excellent job there. Previous day close, major level here for this guy. So that is nice there. Pre-market action, a little bit all over the place, but I think, again, as Norm mentioned, this thing has potential. It always does. NVIDIA, even with the worst pre-market, with the worst volume, can still surprise you. But this breakout is nice. We love to see stocks break out like this. Again, AMD has ran so well in the past and can trade very, very decent. So we like to see that. Today, 81.90 is the low of the pre-market. The high of the pre-market, 82 90, and then towards the top, a clear level here at 85.85. This is okay. 83.13. I love the 85.85 level much better, but again, you can have this pop over here as well. So that is what I like on AMD so far, looking good. Let's see if the volume can continue to pick up. It is getting better after 8 a.m. here. You can see a little more volume coming in, more steadiness. Choppy pre-market action, I'll say that. No direction yet after the gap up of 2%. Let's see what happens. All right, Oxy. Oxy is gapping up pretty nice. It's funny. Oxy probably has one of the most worst daily that's out there, right? It looks pretty bad, but unless you've been trading it like we have and watching it very closely, some of these days, as I mentioned before, are actually pretty clean, right? Like this one here is pretty clean. This was not so much, but all of these are really clean actually. So we've seen some decent opportunity out of Oxy. It's a little bit, it trades a little bit funky. You got to have an idea on how it trades. If you're just watching it for the first time, it could be a little not ideal, but it can provide some good moves, right? So 62.76, good level up here towards the top. High of the pre-market is at 60.45. Towards the bottom, we do have 59.55, and you know what? I'm gonna delete them again because I want to get rid of these levels here because they're old, they're overlapping our older levels. So I'm just gonna get rid of that. Let's clean this thing up, and then we'll do these levels again. So delete hockey there. Okay, we're getting a new pre-market high. Let's see. Let's start with the low of the pre-market then while that develops there. 59.55 is the low of the pre-market. Towards the bottom, guys, look how clean this looks now. Plenty of stuff. Highs and lows for the last 2 trading days. Previous day close, just looking perfect there. Where the price is right now, and where it was just a few minutes ago, right over here. I know the pre-market high is a little bit above that, but I'll show you what I like here. This 60.45. If you come here to the left, you can see a couple of days opening, closing right around that area. So even if we pop up above this, I think this would be a good area to still have here. This day, also closing around that area. So you have enough to put this as a level. Maybe not a major one, maybe a minor level of support and resistance, but I think it's enough to keep it on deck right now. And even this morning, you're seeing a little bit of hesitation trying to get above that level there. So definitely keep that one in play. Above this here, we do have a clean level of 61.93. Might actually be 62. Yeah, it might be 62. And then we have another one up here at 63.23. So good stuff on Oxy. Volume is okay. Remember, Oxy's not going to give you a huge pre-market activity. I'm going to move Oxy up to the top over here because I do like them for a main one this morning. So let's put Oxy up here, and then we'll delete it from our secondary list. Wow, it's nice to see everything green. I should log into my 401k and see what's happening. But this is good. It's nice to see that. All this green stuff moving here. All right. Mara, possible. Bank of America breaking out. See, Bank of America starts to get some love here. So breaking out now, 1.8 million shares traded. Is the SPY pushing, or are we? No, SPY's not pushing enough to cause whatever Bank of America is doing now. 1, 2, 3. Goldman Sachs is not moving like that. So there's something break out on Bank of America alone, 1.9 right now, up 2.3. Somebody can check that out. Let's see. But yeah, some good volume coming in the last 10 minutes here. Let's see if that continues though. If that continues, that could be interesting. So we'll take a look be on the lookout for that. Here's what I like about Bank of America today, guys. We got the gap up this morning. If there's any weakness here, this is going to be a great short. Baba loves to gap up and sell off very nicely, very clean. It probably provides one of the best opening range breakups in the 5-minute that I'm always looking for. Breakouts out of the pre-market low levels, daily levels. I mean, it is really good selling off. So I like the gap up this morning. If we have any weakness here, I will be looking for a possible short opportunity on this. It could trade good to the long side as well, but again, I'm a little bit more short bias on it because how well it trades towards the downside. Here's American Airlines, not doing a whole lot still. CCL is getting the volume, so I like that right now up 2.3. Again, they been beat up quite a bit. Got a good support down here around 9,860. Looks like that's where people are finding some value here because they keep buying it up. Every time we get down here, you can see the support just coming in heavily. So maybe sellers are a little exhausted here. Who knows? Any strength on this could be good. 936,000 right now. So I'll be on the lookout for that. I don't think it can replace any of our tickers towards the top at the moment. because these are looking really good right now. Oh, there's Oxy. Oxy wants to stay above 64, 60, 45 here. So that's good. You know what? Out of all of this, although Plug has the numbers, Plug might be the one that is probably going to trade the worst. Just quickly looking at this, I'm just looking out to see if there's anything we could replace any of our bottom ones with, but Plug might be the one. It's hard to keep Apple on a secondary when you come here. You're seeing 724,000 and climbing. Although you're not up by much, this daily has been breaking out pretty nice. Let's do levels for Apple because I think by before 9:30. I think I'm gonna end up moving Apple up because it is just such a clean trading stock. I always say if there was one stock I had to watch for the rest of my trading career, it'll be Apple. It'll be Apple, right? Hopefully they don't go bankrupt, then I can trade. But Apple is just just incredible. 151,000, 151.91 high of the pre-market. Then we have a good level here at 155, right? 155.59. That is a good one as well. Towards the top here, we do have 159.71. I think that is looking pretty good there. Towards the bottom, you got plenty of stuff down here, highs and lows from the last two trading days. So that is looking good. Chris MC, Carlos, Bank of America at earnings, expect sympathy. Yeah, the earnings, they had earnings today, this morning, right? Was it this morning? Let me make sure I got my my stuff straight. Go to trading terminal. Yeah, I believe it was this morning. So they're moving well right now. Volume is coming in heavily, man, at the moment. Let's see if they can continue that. Look here, 187, 374. This candle has a minute in 31,000. So let's see if that is gonna continue today. All right, folks, we are set. We got our list. Our moderators are throwing their list together. See a couple of mods already. Mike, Susan, Dima, and Thor got their list ready to go. We are all set. Anything on your end that we might have missed, guys, that you like this morning? Oh, Anthony, Bank of America conference call is going on right now. Okay, so maybe they're saying something that something that they like at the moment. So that's good. Are we having a conversation about USB-C and USB normal? That's always a good conversation. All right. What else, guys? We're pretty much set, right? So if you haven't done so already, take the time and opportunity to help us out, hitting that thumbs up. We appreciate it very much. It does help out the channel. 230 likes right now, so we would love to get at 400. 400 is like our goal, right? If we get to 400, we've done our job here. Google after the split. What should one expect? Lois, Loisy. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that right. Norm has his prediction on this. He feels, and I agree with him 100%, that it's not going to be a great trader like we saw with Amazon, right? If you look at Amazon has become a stock that you can actually intraday trade. And we have plenty of times, the volume has been there throughout the entire time, right? On the daily, you're getting some really good movement out of this. I remember what was the split? When they split, I recall the pre-market action having, I think it was probably right here, having tons of volume in the pre-market. For Google, we're not seeing that. I mean, we got 1.1, and this picked up pretty aggressively in the last few minutes, right? When we first saw it, was not really all that. We'll see. We can't go by this. We got to give it a few days, right? The first few days are going to be a little bit funky, people moving in or just getting in for long-term stuff because they like the price now, instead of getting, one share, they can get 20, right? I mean, that's, people are attracted to that stuff. And I forgot the ticker, the company, that one of the reasons, well, I don't know if it was Google or not, but I read this thing or someone mentioned in the chat room, where they were doing the split to make their stock more attractive. That was their main reason for doing that, right? To retail traders or investors or whatever the case may be. And so we were just doing splits just for that, right? Although it's the same thing, I think there's a lot more volume that you can transact at 112 than you can at 2,000, plus dollars, right? Per share. So let's give it a couple of days. We'll see. I don't know what to expect on it. To answer your question, I expect choppiness really on this today. That's what I expect on it this morning. So I'm not expecting to trade it. I have it here as a possible just to see how things go. But I don't think it's going to be like an Amazon. Amazon has been trading very, very well and doing some pretty cool stuff. I'm watching Netflix on my secondary. Netflix, I'll be looking for that on Wednesday morning, and we'll probably watch the earning report on Tuesday at the close. But yeah, Tuesday morning this will be a good one. Big day for them on Friday here, so they just had a nice pop here, but basically going the full range. If you look at this on Netflix, they've been stuck within this range, basically going the full range towards the top side. Today gapping up a little bit. I don't expect a whole lot today though. I think today and tomorrow morning you're gonna have the gamblers kind of trying to predict what's gonna happen here with Netflix. Risky stuff. Be very careful. Trading through earnings. Well, as a day trader, if you're day trading, you're not really doing that, but be very careful there. I just don't think today they're gonna have a good day. I don't expect it, but I could be wrong, and the market will correct me very quickly. 9:10. All right, we got Peter. Welcome back, Peter, and happy anniversary, man. So welcome back. I know you had a great vacation because you told us. So glad to hear that. I'm sure throughout the day today, as you got to get on the mic, we'll hear more about it. I look forward to it. Let's get to our moderators list, guys. Let's get on over there. Let me go ahead and do a couple of things here, and let's hop to our list here. So moderators list this morning, we're looking at Mike. He's looking at NVIDIA, BA, and Bank of America there. Susan, I don't know why this thing does that. There we go. Susan will be looking at Mara, Plug, and GS. Secondary list, Bank of America, AMD, and Apple. And Demo will be looking at GS, Plug, Coin, and Apple as well. Thor, his list, Goldman Sachs, Plug, Coin, and oh, sorry, I'm reading this. Oh, Megan popped up and messed up my line here. Megan, good morning. Thor is looking at SPY, QQQs, BA, and Bank of America. Also the Pivot Alert Bot, of course. Peter, AMD, Bank of America, and Apple. Secondary list, CCL, Plug, and Oxy. No IPOs, no SPACs for today. And Megan will be looking at Tesla and PayPal this morning. So, good. We have a good day. Look at the green here. Just tons of stuff in the green this morning. Got a whole lot going on. Should be a whole lot of fun, guys. Looking at our YouTube chat here, Light of My Life is asking, Plug has no catalyst. No, they had a catalyst last week, not today, but last week they had something, some political stuff that can affect obviously their production and their service. So that was what cost this year. Today they don't have nothing going on, but again, with this drop here, depending how that catalyst is not going to just die out right now. That's going to continue depending how that swings one way or another, or what else comes out after that. You're going to have an effect on Plug. But I'm on the fence on Plug. I think they have great volume, 900,000, but they're not trading well. They did start to do some stuff here. They have gone flat since then, around 8:30 to now. So I don't know. I'm not sure. 8:35 actually. I'm not sure what to think on Plug. I might actually replace them with an Apple. And actually, you know what? I think I am going to do that. I think Plug is a good secondary, maybe. I don't know. I'm on the fence. I'll leave it there. We have plenty of time until 9:30 because I could be wrong on this. This can actually move very well. So I'm really on the fence on it, but it can quickly be replaced with Apple if it does start to do some funky stuff right at the bell. Recap of our list right now, guys, as we get closer to 9:15. We have Plug, we have GS this morning, which normally not on our list, but today I like GS very much. We have a BA here, Boeing is looking pretty good, up 4%. This has a positive catalyst this morning. Look at NVIDIA, guys. NVIDIA is one of my favorites this morning, trading very, very nice, good volume, already getting to that 1 million mark on NVIDIA. So yeah, that is looking very, very nice today. AMD a little bit choppy, but they can get the volume. There's some positive news, as Norm mentioned, overall on these semiconductors. So there's AMD specifically, so that's looking good there. Oxy did manage to break out above this 60.45, and as you know, guys, Oxy put in probably one of the in ratio to how they trade in their pre-market action, they probably put one of the worst pre-market actions in looking just at that ratio and how good they could trade, right? So don't put too much weight on this, but even then, it is looking pretty good. It is looking pretty good. So 244,000, up 3%, now making a new high here of 60.74, and I think that's just going to get better at the market open. Secondary list, Mara, Bank of America on earnings. So okay, so we had this was the call. This is the Bank of America call, as Anton told us here. So had a little pop there and just kind of gone flat again. So not too exciting there. Baba is good, looking for a couple of plays there, more towards the downside. American Airlines, CCL, Apple, and Google as entertainment for the moment on our secondary list. Guys, we're all set. Jarvis coming in with his list. He's looking at NVIDIA / AMD, Bank of America, and Oxy. And then secondary list, Google, Post-Split, and BITO. What is BITO? BITO. BITO. What's the name of this? I don't have my name up. But yeah, BITO is what he's looking at. It looks like an ETF or forum. I'm not sure what it is. Okay, we are set, guys. Guys, have an amazing trading day. Remember, today we do have our onboarding class at 8 p.m. Eastern time, not 8 a.m. That'll be pretty early. 8 p.m. Eastern time today. So join us for that. We're going to go over a couple of things on our websites and things you get access to our education center. So join me there. Use PreMarket 24, get a discount, $24 to join us for a week, right? And not just for the onboarding class, you get access to the entire chat room, 2 chat rooms for 2 weeks there. Carlos, Oxy is one of the worst ORB actions as well. Yeah, it is. They trend well. They don't open well. You got to wait a little bit on Oxy, but they do. When they get going in one direction, man, they do pretty well. All right, guys, thank you so much. Again, we're sitting at 341. So we just need 60 more out of the 846 watching. I don't think that should be difficult, but help us out there. Help us out get there. That will make our morning. And guys, trade safe. Brian, let's look at Brian's list coming in with Bank of America, Citigroup, Tesla, reporting on Tuesday or I believe Baba or Wednesday, Baba and Oxy and AMD. So Brian, when you're ready to hop on, I will switch things over to you. While we do that, let's take a quick look at our tradingterminal.com here, and let's go ahead and look at our calendar and just kind of see what is coming up this week. Oh no, Netflix is the one I'm looking forward to on Tuesday, and then we have Tesla on Wednesday. We have Snapchat on Thursday. That should be fun. See what the Snapchat is doing, and then Twitter on Friday. That should also be fun. So got a couple of names that don't trade also well here. Just looking for companies. I thought this was Starbucks, but that's not the logo. Very good, guys. We are all set, my friends. Brian is up next, trading live with Andrew. We will see you guys later today. Remember, tomorrow morning, closing bell. So make sure you are hitting the notification bell over on YouTube to get notified when Andrew and Artie are going live with the show. This week, the guest we have is going to be amazing. So don't miss it. He was I think he was working for the Lehman Brothers for quite some time. And there goes Brian is hopping on the mic. So guys, I will let you go. Brian is up. Have a great trading day, and I'll see you guys later today. Take care, guys.
Not really sure, honestly, about XPEP. Not sure if there's news or not. Let's take a look at what it looks like. There's nothing on the scanner for stocks gapping down on any kind of volume. XPEV. Yeah, I don't know. Tesla's up. I don't know what NEO's doing. What is NEO doing? NEO's up a little bit. Possibly. Come on. What's Lee doing? Lee's up a bit. Lucid's up a little bit. Tesla's up, obviously up a fair